Alright everyone, 5D Mark III in 2020. Let's get started. So the pros and cons of the 5D Mark III. Okay, let's get into it with the number one thing, autofocus. Now, autofocus is both a pro and a con in this camera. I know that's weird, but it is what it is. So in video mode, don't even think about autofocus because it does not exist. Just keep that in mind if that's really important to you. In photo mode, the autofocus is pretty quick and I haven't had problems with it when using the camera in the day. So in the night, it was a big hassle and it was just annoying. So just keep that in mind as well. It was just too slow in the night. It didn't focus at all, even if my lens was wide open at 1.8 and there was still light there. So just keep that in mind. Video on 5D Mark III is also a pro and a con. So why that is because this does not shoot 4K. So if 4K is really important for you, this camera is out of the question. This camera does not have 4K, but what it has is really good 1080p, and I really appreciate really good 1080p because this camera, the A7R3, does not have good 1080p. You either shoot in 4K or you don't. Now the 5D Mark III shoots 1080p up to 30 frames per second. You cannot slow it down to 20%, so there's no slow-mo in this camera, so it's just 1080p 30. So the quality of the pictures this camera produces is really good, really crispy and very well detailed. It's not a surprise because a lot of professional photographers still use this camera to this day. So yeah, it's a very promising option if this is your first camera. Alright, for me, the number one con is there's no 120 frames per second in this camera, so forget about slow motion too. So is this camera for you? Should you buy it? Is it perfect for you? Can I stop rephrasing this sentence again and again? So if you are a partial hybrid shooter, by that I mean if you are predominantly a photographer and you dabble in video just a few times for just like a home movie or just like a YouTube video, you're gonna just be fine with the video in this, and the pictures again are just phenomenal. So yes, if you're a partial hybrid shooter, go run to the store or run to Amazon on your laptop, just go fire up your keyboard and order this camera because it is phenomenal. Is it for video shooters, predominantly cinematographers, budding filmmakers, my peeps? Is it for you? Well, maybe. Well, again, that is because if you're coming from a APS-C body like the Sony 6600, and if you're switching because you need full frame and your camera has continuous AF in video, don't switch because it's very bad. You don't have it. I got tired of continuously shooting and autofocusing at the same time. I could not focus on the shot and composition and most importantly the storytelling. And if video AF is not that important to you, definitely the video quality is phenomenal even though it's 1080p. So now the third person who this camera will be very useful to is the beginner photographer or videographer and who has heard people talking continuously about the full frame look. You can go buy that camera. I've been seeing that camera and pointing towards my A7R3. I'm just gonna go get that camera. Alright, so this is the beast. This is the beast that we're talking about today. So this beast, is it for budding filmmakers or photographers who are just buying their first camera? And if you can afford this, yes, it's full frame. It has great pictures, great videos. You don't need all the fancy tidbits that come with newer cameras these days. You just need to learn about filmmaking, about composition, about storytelling, and this camera is really nice to help you get you started. So I've been talking about is this camera for you or not for quite a while now. So I'm gonna tell you why I switched from Canon to my Sony that I'm shooting on right now. So the number one thing was, again, no continuous AF in video mode, because like, come on, I could not just keep doing or manual focus all the time while I was shooting. And anytime I gave this camera to my friends to shoot me, I used to be out of focus all the time. It's like, you don't even want to know. Second reason I switched from this camera to the Sony a7R3 was I wanted 4K. Now, necessarily, this is not the most important thing that you need out of a camera, but I really wanted to shoot in 4K because, come on, it's 4K. So, and now the third thing why I switched from this camera is there is no 120p in this. And if you go to my first two videos and watch them, I started shooting on my phone just to get 120p, even though the video quality was shit. I used to just shoot on my phone because I had just started watching Peter McKinnon, and I'm obsessed with that guy. So I needed 120p. And again, if you're a beginner, you don't need all that shit. You just need to learn how to do filmmaking, how to tell stories, and everything. Alright, to end the video, I want to say that after everything that I've spoken about today, about this camera and about buying it in 2020, and if you think that this camera would be a good fit for you, go run to the Amazon or to the store that sells this camera, because believe it or not, a lot of stores and Amazon sell this camera brand new, but if you can get it for cheaper if you go for the used option, like for example on eBay or any other marketplace like that. So yeah, phenomenal camera if you can afford it. If this camera checks the items on your camera buying list, go buy it. Right, so guys, that's it for today. 5D Mark III in 2020. Don't forget to like this video, and if you didn't like it, you know what to do. And don't forget to share this video with friends who are looking to buy a new camera. This video might really help them and they will love you for it. And don't forget to hit the big red juicy subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.